book of Exodus, chapter 21, and verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakakodash. Giving double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. And shalom to all the brothers out here laboring in this truth with sincerity. And today I'm going to get into a lesson going into this show that I saw called Slavery by Another Name. And it goes into slavery versus peonage. And it says peonage, also called debt slavery or debt servitude, is a system where the employer compels a worker to pay off debt with work. Legally, peonage was outlawed by Congress in 1867. However, after Reconstruction, many Southern black men, which we know to be Israelites, were swept into peonage through different methods, and the system was not completely eradicated until the 1940s. So, after slavery was so-called abolished or whatever, they found different ways to enslave Jake. And peonage was one way to enslave Jake. It says in some cases, employers advance workers some pay or initial transportation costs, and workers willingly agreed to work without pay in order to pay it off. Sometimes those debts were quickly paid off and a fair wage worker-employee relationship established. But in many more cases, however, workers became indebted to planters through sharecropping loans, merchants through credit, or company stores through living expenses. Workers were often unable to repay the debt and found themselves in a continuous work without pay cycle. So, that's slavery, man, just a different form. It says, but the most corrupt and abusive peonage occurred in concert with southern states and county government. So, in the South, man, that's where slavery was just brutal on Jake, man. So it didn't stop, even after slavery. You had the Jim Crow. Jake was just going through it, man, with the lynchings and this peonage, man, which people don't really talk about. It says, in the South, many black men were picked up for minor crimes or on trumped-up charges, and when faced with staggering fines and court fees, forced to work for a local employer. Forced to work for a local employer who would pay their fines for them. Southern states also leased their convicts in mass to local industrialists. The paper and debt record of individual prisoners were often lost, and these men found themselves trapped in inexplicable situations. So, man, it was just slavery by another name. Jake was being locked up for, I think, vagrancy laws, where Jake could just be standing in front of a store or something, and they'll pick him up. And he had to work, hardcore bondage, man. So I had never tried to look at one of these videos, but we can go into it and see.
Peonage, as simply as you can define it, is debt servitude. It means you being forced to work out a debt, and there's a federal statute that says it's against the law. The problem here was you could owe somebody money, and if they wanted that money to compel the money, they could sue you. But of course, suing an agricultural worker is probably not going to work. So that's why they resorted to compulsion. is that a civil case was not going to get them their money back. They were going to have to compel the labor from these people. And labor control was a central theme of Southern history. Peonage flourished because it preyed on people who were vulnerable, workers who basically would get in debt, and they didn't know that they could not be forced to work it out. And so they were...
Salakia, it got some kind of back feed or something. Salakia for that. We'll try this one.
5 days after Pearl Harbor, Biddle sends out a circular that he sends to all the lawyers in the Maine Department of Justice in Washington, and also goes to the U.S. attorneys all over.
Anyway, you see it. It's on PBS GPB. Slavery is another name. So, to get more into this peonage is
Peonage.
The definition of peonage: the use of laborers bound in servitude because of debt. A system of convict labor by which convicts are leased to contractors. The condition of a peon, oftentimes, I know in the past, Jake might just say, man, I'm just a peon, man, clearly without knowing what a peon is. So we'll get a definition of a peon.
Peon.
A peon, a Spanish-American day labor or unskilled. Yeah, it's a lucky for that, man. Like I said, I'm a little bit tired, but in South and Southeast Asia, to move low-ranking workers such as Book of Isaiah, chapter 14, and verse 2, it says, "And the people shall take them and bring them to get into their place, the history of a peon, and the houses of Israel. Well, shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids for that. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors." So here we go, man. That's just a form of payback, man. These people have to be paying back for the action that they taken against the children of Israel, man. These people, man, had free labor, and at the same time they brutalized Jake, man. So much unfair treatment, enslaving Jake for nothing, for just standing around in front of stores, man. And Jake going into hardcore bondage behind just standing around, man, or walking. They'll Jake could be walking down the street and they'll just grab him up. So these people have to be paid back for this, man. So like it. And we'll go to stay in the book of Isaiah chapter 14. It says, "Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities." So, we can get verse 22 also. It says, For I will rise up against them, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, said the Lord Yahweh. So, it's coming, man. That payback is right around the corner, man. The way Esau brutalized Jake, and also the northern tribes. We saw that Spanish. It comes from a Spanish word. Peon comes from a Spanish word, and we can go back to that. Just want to get a couple scriptures in, man. All right. Peon. It says from the Spanish peon, Spanish pronunciation peon, usually refers to a person subject to peonage. Any form of wage labor, financial exploitation, coercive economic practice, or policy in which the victim or a laborer has little control over employment or economic conditions. Peon and peonage can refer to both the colonial period and post-colonial period of Latin America. So they had the northern tribe also doing the same thing that they did with Jake. It says Latin America, as well as the period after the end of slavery in the United States, when black codes were passed to retain African American freedmen, which we know to be Israelites, as labor through other means. You know, you can look this up, man. You know, they use sharecropping. You know, Jake worked the land, live on the property and work the land, and don't receive no wages, man. You just work to live on the land, you know. So it's another form. Okay, here we go. It says, after the U.S. Civil War, the South passed black codes, laws to control freed black slaves. Vagrancy laws were included in these black codes. Homeless or unemployed African Americans who were between jobs, most of whom were former slaves, were arrested and fined as vagrants. Usually lacking the resources to pay the fines, the vagrant was sent to county labor or hired under the convict lease program to a private employer. And that's where we get this, man, you know, the 13th Amendment, you know, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, man, this is another form of slavery, man. You know, locking Jake up. So, you know, these people gonna have to pay for this, man. Once again, you know. So, you know, Esau got it coming, man. You know, his whole system is crumbling right before his eyes. And there's nothing he can do to stop it, you know. Because it's coming through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. So, hey, it's just a matter of time, you know. I already spoke of Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 12. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished. Speak, you know, this apply to Esau, man. But thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, said the Lord Yahweh, that Basra, which is a town in Edom, Salakia, shall become a desolation. And this speaking of Babylon the Great, man, America, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. So that's what coming to this place, man, due to all the wickedness. You know, this place was established on rape, rob, murder. So all this stuff is coming back on Esau, man, you know. But, you know, this is something to just get into, man. Hey, you know, it's not really talked about, you know, throughout history. You know, we know Jake was getting locked up for vagrancy laws, but, you know, I never knew the definition or what a peon was. Even though, you know, I used the word, I didn't know the background or the history of it, man. So it's just something to look up, man. Just something to get into, you know. And it's all, man, Esau got wickedness going in places you never even thought he had it, man. So, hey, man, this place is out of here, man. And, you know, we got to end it off with the banger, man, you know. What Yahweh Shem Yahushua has clearly told these people, but they don't seem to get it. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, man. So that's what we're waiting on, Lord willing, man, you know. That these people are going to be retributed for their wickedness, man. That's what we patiently waiting on. And we can feel it, you know. As we see this place on this last leg, you know, we just pray that Yahweh Shem Yahushua have mercy on us, man, to endure and make it through these hard times to come. Hey, to overcome and see Esau, man, go into slavery and be destroyed, man. His kingdom fall, man. You know, what better reward than to make it in the kingdom of heaven, man. So, With that being said, man, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shem, Yahweh Shai by Shem Rakakwadash. Shalom.